See, Python can perform Python can perform complex tasks using a few lines of code. Using Python language, you can develop the you can solve the complex critical solutions, critical problems also. You can find the critical solution for the critical problems. You can write the complex code also using the simple lines. That's why it is the expressive language. Yes, once again I will explain, listen carefully. Using Python, you can write the simple lines of code for the complex problems. That's why it is the expressive language. Expressive language. This is the second feature. So, if you don't mind, can you write down the running notes, whatever I am explaining? So, features of Python. First feature is the easy to learn and use. Second one is the expressive language, and like the headings. So, next one is the interpreted language. Third feature is the interpreted language. Python is the interpreted language. What is meant by the interpreted? See, I think you learned that C, CPP, Java in previous classes or whatever it may be. See, C and CPP are the compilers. Java is a compiler and interpreter, but Python is the pure interpreted. So I will explain what is compiler, what is the functionality of the compiler, what is the functionality of the interpreter. So both the functionality of compiler and interpreter is the same. Interpreter is the same. So compiler will compile the your program, and it will let you know the what are the syntactical errors and grammatical errors in your program. So same functionality also for the interpreter. Interpreters also compile your program. It will show the grammatical errors, syntax errors. So what is the difference between the compiler and the interpreter? Suppose if you wrote the 10 lines of code, suppose if you write the 10 lines of code in C language and CPP language and in Java, compiler will compile that 10 lines at a time. Compiler will compile that 10 lines at a time. But interpreter will compile the line by line. Line by line. First, it will check the first line if there is any mistake or any error. If it is correct, then it will move to the second line. So it will check the second line if there is any grammatical mistakes or error syntactical mistakes are there. So there is no mistakes in the second line. Then it will move to the third line. It will check the third line. Then it will move to the fourth line. After then fifth line. After then sixth line. After then seventh. After then eighth. After then nine. After then last line 10th. Like so, like this, interpreter will check the line by line, line by line. But compiler will check the total program at a time. That is the difference between the compiler and interpreter. Compiler and interpreter. What is the difference between the compiler and interpreter? Compiler will check a total program at a time. If you wrote the 10 lines of program or 100 lines of program, it will check the 100 lines at a time. Compiler. But interpreter will check the line by line, line by line. So C and CPP are the compiler programming languages. So Java is the both interpreter as well as compiler. But Python language is the purely interpreted language. Purely interpreted language. If you wrote the correct sentence in the correct line code in the first line, then it will move to the next line. Otherwise, it will stop you at the first line only. That's why it is called the interpreted programming language. So, what is the next feature? Next feature is the third feature, cross-platform language. Cross-platform language. So what is meant by the cross-platform language? Say, Python can run equally on different platforms. See, so platform language, cross-platform language means yes. Suppose, see here, what is the cross? I will give the one example, live example. So you are using the mobile phones, right? all you are using the mobile phone. Somebody use the Airtel, somebody use the BSNL, somebody use the Vodafone, somebody use the Geo, like this networks. So all using what is the purpose of the this all sims? So to communicate with each other. So using Airtel, you can communicate with other person. Using Geo SIM also, you can communicate with other person. Like this, you can. That is the purpose. What is the purpose of the different SIMs? To communicate with each other. So like that here also, if you wrote the Python program in one operating system, that is nowadays we are using the Windows 10 operating system. If you wrote the one Python program in Windows 10 operating system, you can execute or run that Python program in Linux, Unix, and in some other software operating system also. Cross-platform language means, suppose, see here, if you write the any Python program, you can execute that Python program in different operating system. Example, Windows, Linux, Windows, Linux, and Unix, like this different types of operating systems we have. So you can execute your Python programs in the different operating system. That's why it is called the platform language. So next feature is the free and open source. Python language is a free and open source. Free and open source. So what is meant by the free and open source? What is meant by the free? What is meant by the free and open source? So Python is a free and open source. Suppose, yes, listen. Suppose if you want to download any software from Google, some software will ask the key, license key, and some software will ask the pay the some money. So the Python language software will not ask any license key, any amount. It will is the free of cost. You can freely download from the Google, and you can download into your system, and you can install that Python software or editor into the your system. That's why it is called the free and open source. That's why it is called the free and open source. Python is a freely available for everyone in the Google. The open source code means anyone can download its source code without paying any money. Any money. The open source means anyone can download its source code without paying any money. Not only software, you can download some free source code means programs also from the Google Python programs. That's why it is a free and open source. That is the fifth feature of the Python language. So next one is the sixth one, object oriented programming language. So Python supports the object oriented programming language. So what is meant by the object oriented programming language? I think you learned Java or CPP, either Java or CPP, whatever it may be. So CPP also supports the object-oriented programming, and Java also supports the object-oriented programming. See, in C language, using functions methods, you can build the programs. But in object-oriented programming, using classes, you can build the programs, you can write the programs. So in object oriented programming is nothing but, what is the meaning of the object oriented programming? In object oriented programming, you can create the one class, and you can create the one object to that class. Using that object, you can access that class members and member functions. So object oriented programming. So in object oriented programming, we have classes, objects, inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, abstraction. Encapsulation and abstraction. Yes, listen. So what is meant by the class? What is meant by the class? A class is nothing but a collection of member variables and member functions. Or a class is nothing but a collection of variables and methods. Variables and the methods. Suppose, see here, if you want to write the any code in, suppose, C language, if you want to write the some addition of two members, then you have to write the integer main and void add. Add is a here function name or method name. Function name or method name. So in add, you have to declare the integer a comma b comma c for adding the two numbers. A is equal 10, b is equal 10, and c is equal a plus b. C is equal a plus b. So here variables are the a comma b comma c. Function is the or method is the void add. So these type of variables and methods, collection of variables and methods is called the class. Is called the class in object oriented programming. So that is the class. Class is nothing but collection of variables and methods. Variables and methods. Now coming to the object. What is meant by the object here? Object is nothing but instance of a class or reference to the class. Object is nothing but instance of a class or reference to the class. So using object, you can allocate the memory to the class. You can allocate the memory to the class, and you can access that class members in the main function. Using object, you can access that class variables, methods, functions in the main program. In the main program, that is the functionality of the object. What is the class? Class is nothing but collection of variables and methods. What is the object? Object is nothing but instance of a class or reference to the class. Reference to the class. So using object, you can allocate the memory to the class, and you can access the class variables methods in the main program. In the main program. So that is the object oriented programming. We discussed the class object. Next one is the abstraction. Abstraction is nothing but hiding the unnecessary data to the user. Abstraction is nothing but hiding the unnecessary data to the user. So what is the unnecessary data? See here, best example is the car. In the car, we are hiding the engine to the user. We are hiding the engine to the user. Engine to the user. That is the unnecessary data. Like that, in object-oriented programming, we can hide the unnecessary data to the user. So we can show only what are the required data. We will show that data to the user. Next one is the encapsulation. Encapsulation is nothing but wrapping up of data into the single unit. Wrapping up of the data into the single unit. So what is meant by the wrapping up of the data into the single unit? Suppose there are some empty pages are there, 10 pages, 11 pages, 20 pages, 100 pages are there. So using these, we are collecting these pages into, we are binding these pages into a notebook. We are binding all these pages into a notebook. Like that, in object-oriented programming, we can binding up the data into a single unit. Best example is the class. See, in class we have the different variables, different functions, different methods. We are using those variables, functions, and methods. We are building the one class. We are building the one class. Class is a best example for the encapsulation. What is the encapsulation? Wrapping up of the data into a single unit or binding up of the data into a single unit. That is the encapsulation. Next one is the inheritance. What is meant by the inheritance here? Inheritance means we are acquiring the properties of already existing class into the new class, or we are importing the properties of already existing class into the new class. That is known as the inheritance. So inheritance. So existing is class is called the superclass. New class is called the base subclass. Superclass and subclass. Once again, I will explain. Listen carefully. What is inheritance? We are importing the existing class properties into new class. So best example is the parent and child. So parent has some characteristics. Those characteristics automatically imported to the child. Here existing class is the parent. New class is the child. Parent is called the superclass. Child is called the subclass. Child is called the subclass. Once again, I will let you know the definition. Listen carefully. So, inheritance is nothing but importing the already existing properties class into the new class. Existing class is called the superclass or parent class. New class is called the subclass or child class. So next one is the polymorphism here. Next one is the polymorphism. Poly means many, morphism means forms, many forms. Polymorphism means many forms. It was derived from the Latin word. It is a actually Latin word, polymorphism. So polymorphism means many forms. So what is meant by the polymorphism? One function or one method can perform the so many actions. So many actions. So method name or function name is yes, please mute yourself. Who is E? So one function can perform the so many actions. So how? Yes, listen. Yes, I will give the one best example for you. So you are the one person. Now you are listening to my teaching. Now you are the student. You are listening to my teaching, or you are in the class, in my class. Now you are the student. Suppose if you are going to your home, if you are going to your home by bus or by train or by any vehicle, then you are the passenger or driver. If it is bike, then you are the driver. If it is bus, you are the passenger. Once you reach to your home, then you are the one family member. One family member. One family member. Suppose if you are watching the TV, then you are the audience. Suppose if you are playing any game, either chess or carom, whatever it may be in your home, then you are the player. Then you are the player. So you are the only one person, but you are performing so many actions. You are acting as a student, family member, passenger, audience, player, like this. So, but you are the only one person. Like that, in polymorphism also, one function or one method can perform the so many actions. So many actions. So these are the basic concepts of the object-oriented programming. So these basic concepts will support the Python programming language. Python programming language. Python programming language. Next one is the, so next feature is the large standard library. So Python is a large standard library programming. So what is meant by the large standard library programming language means Python provides a very large huge of libraries. So what are the libraries here we will discuss now. So already I think you learned the C and C++ languages. In C and C++ languages, we have the header files, conio.h header, conio header file, iostream header file, stdio.h header file. We have the some header files. So C and C++ compiler will provide those header files. Coming to the Java, in Java we have the some packages, import io.h, string.h, math.h. Like this, we have the some. What are those packages? Like that, here also we have the libraries. So in C and C++ language, we call those things as the header files. In Java, we call those things as the packages. But in Python, we are calling the libraries. Libraries. In Python, we have a huge number of libraries are there to write the code, to develop the code, to develop the applications. In Python, we have the huge number of libraries. Here, library is nothing but coming to the C and C++ header files. Header files. In Java, packages. Those things here we are calling as the libraries. Here in Python, we have the huge number of libraries to develop the applications, whatever applications. So using these libraries, we can develop the machine learning programmings and web developing programmings and deep learning programmings and scripting languages also. Scripting languages also. Using Python language libraries, we can develop the machine learning applications, web develop applications, scripting applications, deep learning applications. So this is the large standard library. Next feature is the GUI programming support. GUI. What is the GUI? GUI stands for the graphical user interface. GUI stands for the graphical user interface. GUI stands for the graphical user interface. See here, you logged into the Zoom application. So there is a icon for the Zoom application that is called the graphical user interface. Graphical user interface, we are accessing the graphically. So you have the one icon for the Zoom, one icon for the WhatsApp, one icon for the graphic icon for the Instagram. These are all called the graphical user interface. Using Python program, you can develop such type of graphical user interface applications. So did you got my point? What is graphical user interface? Graphical user interface means graphical icons. Suppose Zoom. Zoom is a one, you're using one graphic one icon, graphical icon, and in graphical icon also we have the mute, start video, share, participant, chart, like these icons. These are all called the graphical user interface. These type of icons are all called the graphical user interface. So this type of graphical icons using Python programming language also we can develop. That is called the graphical user interface. Next one is the integrated. What is meant by the integrated? So Python programming language is an integrated language. Integrated language. Integrated means we are combining the more than one or two programs into a single program. Integrated means we are combining the more than one or two programs into the single program. Yes, I will sure, definitely I will share the notes or PDF or PPTs. So give me some time, then I will share. Okay, so suppose where we integrated means we are combining the more than one or two or more programs into a single program. So okay, single program. See, it can be easily integrated with the languages like C, C++, and Java, etc. Python will be easily integrated with the languages. Which type of languages? C, C++, and Java, etc. So we can integrate the what is that Python language with the C, C++, Java, .NET, some other languages also. So we can integrate. So next one is the embeddable. What is meant by the embeddable? Say you all you have the smartphones and mobile phones. Before the smartphones, mobile phones, we used the kind boxes, right? Kind boxes. In kind boxes, they developed the programming using the not only one language, using C language, using CPP language, using Java language, some other languages. So all are combining into the one single piece that is known as the embedded. In even this in small smartphone also, making the calls, sending the messages, and receiving the calls using C and CPP language. They developed the calling application. Whatever the Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp, these are all developed by the Java programming. These are all developed by the Java program, but they embedded all those things into the one smartphone. So we are connecting with the different platforms into a single unit that is known as the embedded. So the Python language also embedded programming language. The Python code of the other programming languages can use in the Python source code. Suppose if you wrote any C program, any C++ program, and any Java program, that program also include in your Python source code. Suppose if you wrote one program in C or in CPP or in Java, that program also you can include in the Python in your Python code. We can use Python source code in other programming languages also. So listen. So if you are including the C program into the Python, CPP program into the Python, Java program into the Python. Like that, you can include the Python program into some other language. You can include the Python program into C language, C programming language code, and Python program into the CPP programming code, and Python program into the Java programming code. So vice versa. That's why it is called the embeddable. Next one is the last one, dynamic memory allocation. In Python language, Memory is allocated dynamically for variables and methods and for the functions. Dynamic memory allocation means so no need to allocate the memory manually or statistically. So it will allocate the memory based upon the function size and the method size. It will allocate the dynamically. So these are the features of the what is that? Python programming. So I will read out the once again features of Python headings. So first one is it is easy to learn and use. And second one is the expressive language. Third one is the interpreted language. Next one is the cross-platform language. Next one is the free and open source. Next one is the object-oriented language. Next one is the large standard library. Next one is the GUI programming support. Next one is the integrated. And next one is the embeddable. Last one is the dynamic memory allocation. These are the features of Python language. These are the features of Python language. These are the features of Python language. So compared to C and C++ and Java programming languages, it has the some new features. That's why we are moving to the Python language. Yes, listen, guys. There is no page number, all the things. These are the just introduction to the Python. Just introduction to the Python. Who invented the Python? Who in which year they invented the Python? What is the Python? So it is a programming language. Why we are moving to the Python language? Already we have the C and C++ and Java languages. Then we are moving to the Python, and means these are the features available in the Python. That's why we are using the Python. This is just introduction. In introduction part, we have all these things. So next one is the applications of Python. So applications means so where we can use the Python language in the real time. Where we can use the Python language in the real time. See here, for developing the web application purpose, we can use the Python language. For developing the web applications. What are the web applications? So using web browser, what are you are accessing the sites, websites, those are called the web applications. Google, Gmail, Yahoo, Amazon, Flipkart. These are all called the web applications. So Python will support the HTML protocols and as well as XML protocols. HTML stands for the hypertext markup language. XML stands for the extensible markup language. So using Python language, you can develop the web applications. Next one is the using Python language, you can develop the desktop applications. Desktop GUI applications. So what is meant by the desktop GUI applications means, see here, in desktop GUI application means if you have system, you have the what is that? Google Chrome icon is there, and what is that? This PC icon is there, and so icons are there. These are all called the desktop GUI applications. And some applications also you can download and install on the desktop. WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, all these things are called the desktop GUI. So Smita, can you mute yourself? So these
okay, sir.
Graphical user interface, desktop application. These all you can using Python, you can develop these all applications. So next one is the console-based application. So what is meant by the console-based application? See here, before GUI, all in the old generation computer people will use the console-based application. See here, nowadays each and everything in the graphical user, if you want to create the new folder, right click on the desktop mouse, new folder. If you want to open the folder, double click on the folder, it will open. If you want to save, there is a so and so file save option. This, if you want to save as file, save as copy paste, like this. Each and everything is the graphically you are available nowadays. In olden days, there is no graphical user of interface. If you want to create a one file, you have to create the one command. If you want to save a file, then you have to execute the one command. So those commands will execute using the console. So now, so if you want, so I think all you learned C and CPP programs, right? If you want, and Java programs also. If you want to execute the, if you want to see the output, C programming and C++ program, it will display on the console output. C programs output will display on the console. One black screen appear on the black screen. You can see the white color letters output. And C and CPP programs and for Java programs also. That is called the console. So in console, all are written within the commands only. Commands only. So such type of commands you can create using the console based, called the console based applications. Using Python also, you can create the console based commands. These commands used in the old generation computer people. Nowadays it is not there. So next one is the software development. Software development. So what is meant in software development also we can use the Python programming language. Python programming language. So what is meant by the software development? Nowadays we have so many software companies are there like Wipro and TCS. Like this, we have so many companies. They are developing the so many projects. So that such type of software such type of projects also developed using the Python programming. So that is called the software development. So next one is the in scientific and in numeric. In scientific also we can in science also we can use the Python. So what is meant by the scientific and numeric? This is a you know about the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a one type of scientific. So how it will become as a science? Artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence will think as a like human brain. Artificial intelligence will think like as a human brain. So example is the robo. Robo is a will run on the based on the artificial intelligence. In such type of applications also we can use the Python programming language. Python programming language. See here. So using machine learning and the some mathematical function libraries and scientific libraries, we can develop the artificial intelligence applications. So to solve the complex solutions also we can use the Python programming. So using Python you can develop the business applications. Business applications also you can develop. So what are the business applications nowadays? ERP and e-commerce. ERP and e-commerce. So what is e-commerce? E-commerce means buying and selling the goods through internet is known as the e-commerce. Buying and selling the goods through internet is known as the e-commerce. So how you can buy the goods through the internet? Through what is that? Amazon. Using Amazon, Flipkart, you are buying some goods. How you can sell your goods? Best example is the OLX. In OLX, you can sell your products. You can sell your old products or new products, whatever it may be. So these are all called the business applications. OLX, Amazon, Flipkart, Zomato, Swiggy. These are all called the business applications, e-commerce. Next one is the using Python programming language. You can develop the audio video based applications also. Yeah, so what is the best example? YouTube. YouTube is a audio and video based application. So next one is the using Python. You can develop the 3D applications, 3D CAD applications. What is the CAD? CAD. CAD stands for the computer aided design. CAD, computer aided design. CAD stands for the computer aided design. That is also one type of software tool. In that also we can use the Python. Using Python, we can develop the 3D applications, three-dimensional applications. Three-dimensional applications. So next, where we can use the Python in enterprise applications. Enterprise applications. What is meant by the enterprise? It means here one big organization. Enterprise means big organization. So in one big organization, if you want to communicate with each other, one employee to another employee, one person to another person, they will develop the some applications in their personal. In such type of companies, we can using such applications. We can develop the using Python. We can develop the enterprise applications also. Next one is the we can use the Python in image processing applications. In image processing applications. Nowadays, using machine learning and the deep learning, we are working with the images. We are working with the images. So using machine learning and deep learning, we can identify the images, we can modify the images, we can modify the images. Suppose yes, listen. Best example is the robo. So robo, how it will identify? Before that, they will program to the robo. So and so, some pictures of the human being, some pictures of the car, some pictures of the building, some pictures of the parrot, like this. They will while manufacturing, they will program those pictures into. So it will scan. So if robo will see the building, so it will match in that the program. If it is matching for that image, though, it will identify this is building. If it is see the human being, then it will match the images inside images. If it is matches human being, it will identify, oh, he is belongs to the human. So like this, you like this, we can use the in image processing applications, Python. So Python is very useful for the image processing applications nowadays. So
హలో
many,
సార్
yes.
సార్ ఇప్పుడు మామూలుగా గూగుల్ పే ఫోన్ పే యూనియన్ బ్యాంక్ ఎస్బీఐ ఇట్లా యాప్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా సార్ అవి కూడా బిజినెస్ డెవలపింగ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ కిందకి వస్తాయి సార్ అవి
అవి కూడా బిజినెస్ అప్లికేషన్స్ కింద వస్తాయి. ఐ మొబైల్ ఇప్పుడు దేర్ ఇస్ ఏ ఐసిఐసిఐ బ్యాంక్ is a big organization, right? ICICI Bank and SBI Bank, these are all big organizations or enterprises. So for their customer purpose, they develop their own applications, right? iMobile application and something is there. Those are all common as the business applications. Yes, you are correct.
సార్ మళ్ళీ గేమింగ్ ఉంటాయి కదా సార్, మళ్ళీ
గేమింగ్ అనేది అది బిజినెస్ అప్లికేషన్స్ కిందకి రాదమ్మా. అది ఎంటర్టైన్మెంట్ వస్తుంది.
ఓకే సార్.
గేమింగ్ అనేది కూడా చేయొచ్చు పైథాన్ యూజ్ చేసి, బట్ ఇట్ విల్ కమ్ యాజ్ ఎ ఎంటర్టైన్మెంట్. ఓకే
ఓకే సార్.
Okay, so these are the applications of the Python program. So what are the applications? So applications means where we can use the Python programming in real time. So for developing the web applications, for developing the desktop GUI applications, for console based applications and software development. And next one is in scientific and in the scientific also. Next, for developing the business applications, for developing the audio video based applications, for developing the 3D applications, in enterprise applications, and in the image processing applications. These are the applications of the real-time use of the Python programming. So today we discussed the what is Python and what are the features of Python and what are the applications of Python. Applications means where we can use the Python in real time. So next classes we will discuss about the how we can define the variables, how we can define the methods, how we can write the programs, what are the variables are there, what are the variables are there, like in C and C++ also we have the here also local variables and global variables. We have the input functions, output functions like C and C++. We have the keywords like C and C++ and Java. We have the tokens also in this. We have the operators, data types, and the data types, operators and looping statements and conditional statements. Arrays are there. Like this in C and C++, Java we have like this. Here also we have to discuss all these things. So what is variable? So how you can define the variable? What is local variable? What is global variable? And what is data type? How many types of data types are there in Python? What is the operator? What is the use of the operator? How many types of operators are there in Python? And next one is what are the keywords are there? what are the tokens are there, what are the constants are there, what are the literals are there, and what are the lists are there in Python. And next one is the what are the looping statements are there, and what are the conditional statements are there, what are the jumping statements are there, and what are the arrays are there in the Salem, what are the already I said na object oriented programming. So how using JavaScript, sorry, using Python, you can develop the scripting languages. How we can use this Python language, object-oriented programming. How we can create the classes. How we can create the object. How we can implement the inheritance, encapsulation, polymorphism, abstraction. All these things. All these things. So next. So whatever you learned in CPP and Java, those things also you can learn here also. But syntax is different. And apart from this, we have more features are there. We will discuss those things also in the next classes. So if you have any doubts in today's class, please ask me. I will let you know once again.
Hello sir.
Yes.
సార్ ఇప్పుడు మామూలుగా ఇప్పుడు సిపియుకి వాకి అంటే ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఇస్తారు కదా సార్ మామూలు ఎలక్ట్రానిక్స్ కి కమాండ్, అది ఏ ప్రోగ్రామ్ బేస్ చేసుకుని చేస్తారు సార్? అది
ఎలక్ట్రానిక్స్
సార్
అంటే మీ క్వశ్చన్ ప్రాపర్ వేలో లేదమ్మా, మంచిగా రండి. మీరు ఎక్కడ ఉన్నారు? బయట ఉన్నారా? అంత డిస్టర్బెన్స్ గా ఉంది.
సార్ నేను బయట కూర్చున్నాను.
పర్లేదమ్మా, అడిగే క్వశ్చన్ అడిగే కొంచెం ప్రాపర్ వేలో అడగండి, నేను చెప్తాను.
అదే సార్, ఇప్పుడు ఏదైనా మనము కమాండ్, ఇప్పుడు ఆర్డినో బోర్డు ఉంటుంది కదా సార్ ఒకటి.
సారీ,
ఇప్పుడు ఆర్డినో బోర్డు ఉంటుంది కదా సార్, దానికి మనం ఒక ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్ ఇస్తాం కదా సార్, అది ఏ ప్రోగ్రామ్ అని, అంటే ఏ ప్రోగ్రామ్ కిందకి వస్తుంది సార్ అన్నట్టు?
embeddable. Python is a embeddable, means using this you can develop any electronic anything. So nowadays C and CPP, Java, how you are using the C and C++ and Java programs in anywhere in electronics and whatever it is, also it will also useful. Python also even useful. Okay.
Okay sir.
Next, any doubt? Yes. Any doubts regarding today's class? Yes, sure. I will share the notes with you people. Don't worry about that.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
So let's listen. See here. Operators declaring. So do you have idea about C and CPP and Java, or this is the first programming language? Yes, guys. Is it first programming language, or do you have any knowledge?
Yes, sir. This is the first programming language for us.
So what you learned in the previous classes, can you let me know?
సార్ కొంతమందికి అసలు ఐడియానే లేదు సార్ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ లాంగ్వేజ్ అంటే ఏంటో. కొంతమందికి ఇదే ఫస్ట్ క్లాస్, అసలు ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ అంటే ఏంటనేది కూడా తెలియదు కొంతమందికి.
అవునా? ఓకే, నో ప్రాబ్లం. అంటే వాళ్ళు చెప్పింది అర్థమైందమ్మా మీకు? ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు ఐ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ ద ఫీచర్స్ ఆఫ్ పైథాన్ అండ్ అప్లికేషన్స్ ఆఫ్ పైథాన్, ఐ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్, రైట్? సో డూ యూ హ్యావ్ ఎనీ డౌట్స్? In next class I will explain what is program, how to write the program, so what is how to execute the program. I will let you know all the things from basics onwards. Okay, is it clear?
Sir?
From C language you have to, sir. You don't know about.
From C language?
Sir, C++ వస్తే ఇది ఈజీగా అర్థం
We even don't know C language and C++ language, sir.
Okay, this is the 4th semester, right? You are studying 4th semester or second semester?
Second semester, sir. Second semester, sir.
First semester, tell me.
సార్ యాక్చువల్ ఏమైందంటే మన సెకండ్ సెమిస్టర్ లో పైథాన్ ఇచ్చాడు, థర్డ్ ఫోర్త్ సెమిస్టర్ లో C++ ఇచ్చాడు, రివర్స్ వచ్చింది.
ఫస్ట్ సెమిస్టర్ ఏముందమ్మా?
ఫస్ట్ సెమిస్టర్ మామూలుగా ఇది అదే
MS Word, MS Word and Windows 10 and all.
Okay, fundamentals. What is MS Word? What is MS Access? What is MS Excel? What are the memory devices? What are the input devices? What are the...
ఉన్నాయి సార్.
Yes, sir.
They mentioned, right?
Yeah.
So okay, no problem. Don't worry about that. So I will let you know each and everything. What is programming? How to write the programming? Each and everything in next class onwards. Okay.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So it is very easy language, easy to learn. Just whatever I said, you have to follow that one. So what is variable? What is looping statement? I will let you know. So I think already you learned C and C++ like these languages. So
Yes, sir.
that's why I want to proceed. I was so if you learned those things, I will proceed speedily. Otherwise, I have to change my teaching way. That's why I asked you.
సో అంటే
So,
కొంతమందికి అసలు తెలియదు సార్ సి ప్లస్ ప్లస్ కూడా స్ట్రక్చర్ ఎలా రాయాలి అందుకని.
ఓకే అమ్మా, నేను అని నీట్ గా చెప్తాలేమో వాట్ ఈస్ వాట్ అనేది. ఓకేనా?
ఓకే సార్.
So today's class lo, if you have any doubts, please ask me. I will explain. So let me one thing. Is it okay English to English explanation or can I
Yes,
explain?
yes, sir. Is it okay?
Is it okay?
స్క్రీన్ కూడా
That's
షేర్
okay,
చేస్తే
sir.
చెప్తే బాగుంటుంది సార్. అది
So
మీ
I will
డైరెక్ట్
share the
ఇట్లా రీడింగ్ చేస్తున్నట్టుంది మొత్తం. ఒకసారి స్క్రీన్ షేర్ చేస్తే కూడా బాగుంటుంది.
I will share the PPTs in next class onwards. Okay.
ఓకే.
I will share the PPTs. So based upon the PPTs, I will explain the things. Is it okay?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Today's class and next class onwards, I will explain using the PPTs. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
ఓకే.
So any doubts in today's class?
నో.
So what is Python? What are the features of Python? What are the applications of Python? So yes, guys, so tell me one thing. Do you have any group regarding your class? Computer
Yes, sir.
applications class?
I
Yes, we
shared
have, sir.
the link of chat.
Somebody can add my number in that group, then I will share the notes. Either
I
PPT
shared a link in this chat, sir. Once
What?
click on that.
So right, I am typing my number in the chat box. Please add me in that group. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, this is my number 9177421480.
Okay.
So how many members are there in your class?
It's not a class. It's actually a AP and TS coordinating.
సో it
Both,
differs
kids
by
are
day,
there.
sir.
Okay. So myself, my name is B. Venkataratnam. So I completed my MCA and now I'm pursuing my PhD from the Usmania University.
I have added you in the group, sir.
I will explain the PPTs, okay? So if you have any doubts, please ask me in today's class.
No doubt, sir.
Hello, Venkatkar. Can we have any real project or something do practically?
Sorry?
Can we do real project like this? Once completed Python, can we do small project in the practically?
Okay, I will let you know. Definitely.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.